So it's the end of another year, 2023 is over, and I've seen a lot of people online doing videos about like their favorite gear that came out in 2023, the newest and best stuff. And I thought I'd give my own take at that. So I'm going to talk about gear that I got in 2023, not necessarily gear that came out in 2023, but gear that I purchased in 2023. So I'm going to talk about 8 things that I got this year that have really made a big difference to my workflow, for my YouTube videos, or for just general content that I've been making. But first off, let's talk about the camera. And this is the one that you're watching right now. It's the Sony A6700. This has been a fantastic camera. Everything that I've shot with it, I've really enjoyed using it. I personally haven't experienced any overheating with this camera, but I also haven't filmed long extended periods of 4K 120. That's just not something that I do. I love it. It's been great. You're able to get the video quality of an FX30 in a smaller hybrid style body that's also great for photography. It was just a no-brainer for me. Whenever I picked it up, I know there were a handful of people in the comments being like, why wouldn't you just get the FX30? Well, I did cave and I got an FX30, so I've got that arriving next week. So we're going to talk about that in the future as well. But this camera has been fantastic. I've loved it, and I would highly recommend it to anybody looking for a good hybrid camera for a decent amount of money. But a camera is only as good as the lenses that you put in front of it. So my second item is this. This is the Tamron 17-70. It's a phenomenal lens. I know it's a little larger than some people tend to like in a lens. I actually quite like the size of this lens. I think it looks really good on the Sony A6700. It's a lens that is designed for APS-C. It's not for full frame. And it is a 17mm to 70mm, which is roughly the equivalent of 25 to 105 at an f2.8, which is kind of crazy. So 25 to 105 f2.8 with image stabilization built into the lens is just fantastic, especially for the money. You can find these I think it's like $600 or $700 for one of these. I think for what you're getting with this lens, a weather sealed zoom range of 25 to 105 with f2.8 stabilized for APS-C for $600 or $700. Fantastic lens, you cannot go wrong. But if you've seen this channel before, you know I actually tend to shoot a lot of manual or cinema lenses. And this year I actually received this. This is a set of cinema primes by ZY Optics, or by Miticon, I think it's called. And I made a video about these a few months ago, but it comes with a set of 3, which is a 20mm, a 35mm, and a 50mm. And they open up to T1.0, which I think is like the equivalent of an f0.95. I'll put a lot of footage on the screen that I captured with these. I've used these for weddings. I've used them on the A6700 and the ZV-E10, and I absolutely love these lenses. At T1.0, they're not the sharpest lenses in the world, but they have a beautiful character to them, beautiful quality image. I always come back to using these. We just filmed a short little music video recently, and they were the first ones that I went to pick up because I wanted a nice style and character to the image. Sometimes you want a more clinical, sharp, smooth image. That's where things like this come in handy, or the Sigma primes. Love those. But a lot of times I want character. I want something more interesting, a little bit more unique. And these lenses are absolutely great. I love the style and characteristics that come out of them. Okay, so next let's talk about a couple of small accessories that are really just handy to throw in your camera bag. So the fourth thing on my list is actually this, and I've talked about this a handful of times. It's the CreateMate little SD card holder / reader. This little thing is fantastic. It's an SD card holder, so it just pops up the top, and it has space for 4 SD cards. But it also acts as an SD card reader, all in one item, which is just super handy for travel. The fact that you can just pull out that little USB-C cable, take your SD card out of here, and plug it in. And now this SD card is ready to go into your computer. Once you're done backing up your files, you just put that away, tuck in your cable, and pop that straight back in your bag. Love this thing. This is super, super handy, and just saves a lot of hassle. There's nothing worse than having to have an SD card holder and an SD card reader. It's just like 2 things that don't serve enough of a purpose in your camera bag to really justify, but 2 in 1, absolutely fantastic, would highly recommend. Now our 5th item is actually something that I didn't think would go onto this list, but it's an Ulanzi battery plate. Now I have actually had this for a little over a year, but I ended up buying 4 of them because they are so versatile. Just over the course of this last year, I just found more and more uses for them. It is basically an NPF battery plate that has a 1/4-20 mount on the bottom. So on this one I've attached a little NATO rail to it, and that just makes it a little bit easier to attach it on and off of accessories. Take your NPF battery. This will act as a charger, so it can charge your NPF batteries. It also has a D-tap output and a USB-A and a USB-C output, so you can charge anything. I use this to charge my phone if I'm traveling and I don't have an outlet anywhere. This acts as a battery bank. I use it to charge my lights, which we're going to be talking about them in a little bit, or to power my camera. but also it recharges the battery itself. So you can even use this as like power delivery in. So if I had this on top of my camera, powering the camera, I could plug it into the wall, and then I have indefinite power for my cameras, which is fantastic. I absolutely love these. I ended up picking up loads of them because they've been so useful. I just use them for everything. Would highly recommend these little Ulanzi plates. Now, the 6th item on my list is actually one of the lights that I was talking about that I've used with this little battery plate, and I'm using 2 of them right now in this shot. One is this is this little tube light here, and I have another one right out of frame over here that is giving me this orange light on the side of my face, which it looks like it's coming from that bulb, but it's not. And that light over there, it's actually not plugged into anything. It's currently being powered by one of these. So I've always wanted the Nonight Pavo tubes, but they're about $400 for like a 4-foot one, and I just could never justify spending that much money on small accent lighting for a studio for a small YouTube channel like this. But that's when I discovered these things. So these are also by Nonight. They are Nonight Pavo tubes, but they are the affordable versions. This is the Pavo Tube T87X, I think it's called. And it has an internal battery, so I can turn this one on here. You can have it as RGB, so you got a red lightsaber here. And you can cycle through all the RGB colors. It's just got a couple of small buttons on the bottom. It also has, I think that's it at full brightness, so you can change the brightness level with one of the other buttons. And lastly, you can either be in RGB or in just CCT mode, where you have regular sort of white or orange. I can't remember the exact specs as to how cool and warm it goes, but I put those on the screen. So these have internal batteries in them, but they also run off of power of USB-C. The battery life isn't fantastic. It's like 45 minutes to an hour on full charge. But the amazing thing about these is that they're $100 a piece. So the normal Nonight Pavo tubes are like $400, but these are only $100. So I ended up picking up 2 of them. I picked up that one and the one that's out of the frame over here. And I love them so much that I ended up ordering their 4-pack. So you can get 4 of them, and you get this hard case that goes with it, which is super handy. You get this hard case, it's got a nice strap, so you can kind of carry it wherever you go, and a little top pouch here at the top to carry your USB-C cables. It comes with a cable for each one. I literally just got this 4-pack the other day, so that's why these aren't taken out of their bags yet. But these are super, super versatile. Anytime you want a little bit of accent lighting, having these outside of the frame or just to be able to use as a little kicker or a hair light is so handy. And for the money, to be able to get 4 of them for $400 with a hard case is absolutely fantastic. Because again, the normal Pavo tubes, which are definitely going to be more robust, stronger, and probably brighter, longer battery life, all that kind of stuff, it's $400 a piece. To be able to get 4 of them for $400, I think it was a bit of a no-brainer for me, and I've absolutely loved using them. They come in handy all the time, anytime I'm filming narrative pieces or things where I just need a little bit of accent lighting. Now, the 7th item on this list you've been listening to for this entire video, and that is the Shure SM7B. I've always wanted this microphone. It's a legendary microphone, and I can never quite justify buying one because I have a decent amount of microphones already, but YouTube is now doing pretty well for me. I'm at about 4,000 subscribers, and there's some funds coming in which allows me to buy some passion projects, a little extra income on the side that has allowed me to purchase things like this and a couple other small pieces. So this was more of a passion thing that I purchased, and I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I do, but I just love the sound that comes out of this. It's not going to be perfect for everybody's voice, and it's not ideal for every single situation, but the YouTube studio that I have here, it's decently acoustically treated. But having this really high quality dynamic microphone just really improves the sound of these videos. I love having it, and it also just has an iconic look. When people typically see this, they recognize it as a decent, well-known high-end microphone, and it just adds a little bit of clout to your character, your videos that you're making. It adds a little bit. And we use it for our podcast that we do here at our church every week, so it gets plenty of use. And if you're going to be spending this much money on a microphone, make sure you're getting plenty of use out of it. Now, the last thing on my list is this. This is the Mac Mini. This is the M2 version, and this is the computer that I've been using over the last couple of months to edit all of my videos. This thing is fantastic. I haven't had any problems with it. The only time I've seen it struggle in Premiere Pro with footage is with multiple layers of 4K 10-bit 422 footage, which is pretty substantial amount of workflow. And that's the only time that it struggles. Normal single 4K timeline or, not 10-bit timeline, it works just fine. And for like a $500 or $600 computer to be able to do all of that is fantastic. And it's also just really important to be able to have a computer that's going to handle all of your footage. Whenever I picked up the Sony A6700, it does have bigger, more demanding files with that 10-bit 422. So you obviously are going to want to have a computer that can handle those files. Obviously you can edit work when it's a little bit choppy and jumpy and your computer's struggling a little bit, but it takes way longer. So you want to make sure that you have a computer that can handle the files that you have. It makes the editing process much more streamlined, and it can cut the editing time in half. And the exporting time on these things is lightning fast compared to the previous computers that I've used. So that was kind of quick fire. Those are my 8 things that this year I've purchased that I've really enjoyed. There's a bunch of stuff that I've purchased this year that I have barely used. So if you want to see a video of all the stuff that I've purchased in 2023 that I think were a waste of money, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to make that because I'm a gearhead. I love buying stuff, but oftentimes you end up buying something and you think it's going to change your life, and you end up never using it. So if you want to see a video about gear that I think it has been a waste of money for me, let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button. I want to hear your thoughts. What's your list of things of your favorite gear that you purchased in 2023? I want to hear from you down below. And if you'd even be willing, I'd love it if you'd hit the subscribe button as we continue to build this channel. I appreciate all of you for doing so, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.